The massive starship drifted silently through Earth's outer atmosphere, its metallic hull gleaming against the dark canvas of space. Captain J. Park stood motionless, his dark eyes fixed on the alien vessel that had suddenly appeared on their tracking systems. Something about its presence felt different, not threatening but definitely not friendly. Yuna Kim, the lead communications specialist, adjusted her headset and listened intently to the incoming transmissions. The alien language was complex, filled with clicks and mathematical precision, but her advanced translation algorithms were working overtime to decode their message. "They're not here to make friends," she muttered under her breath. The Zorn delegation, a collection of tall, gray-skinned beings with elongated fingers and emotionless expressions, transmitted their first official communication. Their language translated into something both arrogant and dismissive. They viewed humans as primitive, technologically backward, and essentially insignificant in the grand scheme of galactic civilization. Jay watched the translation scroll across his primary screen. Each word seemed to carry a weight of condescension that made his muscles tense. The aliens believed humans were so far beneath their technological capabilities that they could be easily controlled or dismissed. Little did they know, humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. The first transmission outlined the Zorn's generous offer. They would allow humans to become a protectorate species, essentially slaves to their advanced civilization. Humans would be granted basic technological access, but all major decisions would be controlled by the Zorn Collective. Yuna's fingers danced across her communication panel. She was simultaneously recording, analyzing, and preparing a response. Her team had spent years developing communication protocols for potential alien encounters, and this scenario was precisely what they had trained for. Jay noticed something peculiar in the alien transmission. Between their complex mathematical language and apparent superiority, there was a subtle hint of uncertainty. Perhaps they were not as confident as they appeared. "They're testing us," Jay said quietly to Yuna. "They want to see how we'll respond." The global defense networks were already activated. Military installations around the world had been monitoring the alien ship's approach. Satellite systems, originally designed for communication and Earth observation, were now functioning as advanced tracking and potential defensive platforms. What the Zorn didn't understand was human adaptability. Where other species might have panicked or immediately submitted, humans were calculating, innovative, and surprisingly resilient. The alien ship continued its slow, deliberate approach. Its technological signatures suggested capabilities far beyond current human understanding. Massive energy generators, complex quantum communication systems, and defensive shields that seemed to bend the very fabric of space. But humans had something the Zorn couldn't comprehend, an unpredictable spirit of resistance. Yuna completed her initial analysis and turned to Jay. "They expect a diplomatic or fearful response. We should give them something unexpected." A slight smile crossed Jay's face. The first contact would not be a moment of submission, but a declaration of human potential. As the alien transmission continued, detailing their supposed superiority and humanity's future under their control, Jay and Yuna exchanged a knowing glance. The Zorn thought they were making first contact. In reality, they were about to start a conflict they could never have anticipated. The first chapter of humanity's galactic story was about to be written, and it would be nothing like the Zorn expected. In the control room, surrounded by advanced monitoring equipment and global communication networks, Jay Park watched the alien ship with a calm determination. Humanity would not be defined by fear, but by its ability to face the unknown with courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable spirit. The aliens had made their first move. Now it was humanity's turn to respond. The global command center hummed with intense activity. Hyun Choi stood at the center of a massive circular room, holographic displays dancing around him with streams of alien technological data. Each screen showed fragmented information from the intercepted Zorn transmissions, complex mathematical codes, energy signatures, and technological blueprints. "We have exactly 72 hours, Hyun announced to the gathered team of scientists, military strategists, and technology experts, not to prepare a defense but to create an offensive strategy. Yoon Lee, a brilliant tech specialist with wild hair and even wilder ideas, was already breaking down the alien communication systems. Her fingers moved rapidly across multiple quantum computers, each one working to decode the smallest details of Zorn technology. The world had changed in an instant. National boundaries disappeared. Every country, every research facility, every brilliant mind was now focused on a single objective: understanding and defeating the alien threat. Military bases around the world transformed overnight. Experimental weapon systems that had been hidden in deep underground laboratories were now being brought to the surface. Prototype quantum communication devices, originally designed for theoretical research, were being adapted for potential combat scenarios. Satellite networks began a comprehensive scan of the alien ship. Every electromagnetic frequency, every potential weakness was being analyzed. Hyun knew that traditional military thinking would fail. They needed something completely unexpected. "We're not going to fight their technology," Yoon explained to a group of senior military commanders. "We're going to make them question everything they know about warfare." Teams worked in shifts, analyzing every piece of captured alien data. Some focused on communication systems, trying to understand the Zorn's language and communication protocols. Others examined their technological signatures, looking for potential vulnerabilities. In a hidden research facility deep beneath the Korean mountains, a special team worked on something revolutionary. They weren't just preparing defensive systems. They were designing adaptive technologies that could learn and modify themselves in real time. Hyun noticed a particular pattern in the alien technological design. The Zorn relied heavily on predictive algorithms and mathematical precision. Their entire technological ecosystem was built on the assumption of logical, predictable responses. Humans would show them the power of unpredictability. Military training programs changed overnight. Soldiers were no longer being prepared for traditional warfare. They were being trained in adaptive thinking, psychological manipulation, and unconventional combat strategies. Yoon's team developed a series of quantum communication disruptors. These weren't traditional weapons, but sophisticated devices designed to confuse and disorient the alien communication networks. They would turn the Zorn's technological superiority into a weakness. Global universities emptied as the world's best. Minds were recruited. Physicists, computer scientists, military strategists, linguists, everyone had a role to play. The preparation wasn't just about creating weapons, but about understanding the fundamental nature of the alien threat. "They think we're primitive," Hyun told a group of international leaders. "But primitiveness can be our greatest strength. We adapt, we innovate, we survive." Experimental technologies that had been considered too risky were now being fast-tracked. Quantum computing systems merged with advanced AI algorithms. Communication networks were redesigned to be impossible to predict or intercept. The world was no longer preparing for a potential conflict. They were designing a comprehensive strategy to protect humanity's existence. Hyun discovered something fascinating in the alien technological signatures. The Zorn systems, for all their complexity, had fundamental blind spots. They were so confident in their technological superiority that they had overlooked basic principles of adaptive warfare. "We're not going to fight them with their technology," Yoon whispered to herself. "We're going to fight them with something they can't understand: human creativity." As the 72 hours ticked down, the preparation reached a fever pitch. Every system was being tested, every strategy analyzed. The global command center became a symphony of human potential, a testament to what could be achieved when an entire species united with a single purpose. The Zorn thought they were coming to conquer. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The sky burned with an unnatural light as the first wave of Zorn ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Commander Wu Xin watched from the advanced underground command center, his eyes never blinking. "They're coming exactly as we predicted," he muttered to his tactical team. The alien vessels looked like massive silver daggers, cutting through clouds with impossible precision. Each ship represented technological superiority that should have terrified any defending species. But humans were different. Global defense systems activated simultaneously. Unlike traditional military responses, this was a carefully choreographed dance of technological innovation and psychological warfare. Wu had spent months preparing for this moment, understanding that conventional warfare would mean certain defeat. The first Zorn ships encountered unexpected resistance. Electronic. Warfare systems began broadcasting complex signal patterns that confused their navigation. Advanced quantum jammers created multiple false sensor readings, making the alien vessels uncertain about their actual location. Earth's atmosphere became a battlefield of invisible signals and technological deception. Wu's strategy wasn't about direct confrontation. It was about making the aliens question everything they understood about combat. Each defensive move was calculated to create maximum psychological disruption. Experimental electromagnetic pulse generators created localized energy fields that interfered with alien ship systems. Some ships began experiencing random system failures, their advanced technology suddenly feeling vulnerable. They expected submission, Wu said coldly. We're giving them chaos. Military units positioned around the globe were not waiting passively. Special forces teams equipped with experimental, adaptive armor began strategic interventions. They weren't trying to destroy alien ships. They were demonstrating human unpredictability. In the Pacific, a small naval unit used unconventional tactics. They deliberately exposed themselves, then vanished using advanced camouflage technologies. The Zorn ships would scan, detect, and then find nothing, creating a sense of psychological uncertainty. Over major cities, holographic projection systems created multiple false targets. Alien targeting systems became overwhelmed, unable to distinguish between real and simulated threats. Each projection was designed to make the Zorn question their technological superiority. Communication intercepts revealed growing confusion among the alien command structures. They had expected a straightforward invasion, but humans were turning the entire engagement into an unpredictable psychological experiment. Wu's team had studied every piece of intercepted Zorn communication. They understood the alien species valued mathematical precision and logical progression. Humans would use that against them. Advanced drone swarms, numbering in thousands, began complex movement patterns that defied traditional warfare logic. They weren't trying to destroy. They were creating confusion, testing alien response systems. In the upper atmosphere, experimental quantum radar systems created multiple layered signal projections. Each projection contained fragments of information designed to make the Zorn question their own technological understanding. We're not fighting, Wu explained to his team. We're demonstrating that technology is meaningless without adaptability. The first alien ship started experiencing systematic failures. Navigation systems would suddenly malfunction. Communication networks would broadcast random mathematical sequences. Defensive shields would momentarily collapse without explanation. Humans were turning the Zorn's technological superiority into a psychological weakness. Strategic ground units equipped with advanced adaptive armor began small, precise interventions. They would appear, demonstrate unexpected combat capabilities, and then vanish, leaving the aliens uncertain and confused. As the first engagement continued, something became clear. Humans were not just defending, they were sending a message about the nature of technological warfare. The Zorn had expected a simple invasion. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a complex psychological battlefield where their most advanced technologies became their greatest vulnerabilities. Commander. Wu Xin watched the engagement with a calm, calculated expression. This was more than a battle. This was humanity's declaration to the universe about their true potential. The first engagement was proving one fundamental truth. Technological superiority means nothing without the ability to adapt, to think beyond predictable patterns, to embrace uncertainty. The sky continued to burn, a testament to humanity's unexpected resistance. Mina Kang stood in the advanced command center, her eyes scanning multiple holographic displays showing the evolving conflict. The Zorn invasion had transformed from a confident assault to a desperate struggle for survival. They're running out of options, she whispered to her tactical team. The counteroffensive wasn't just a military strategy. It was a complete reimagining of warfare. Humans had studied the Zorn's technological ecosystem and found its fundamental weakness: predictability. Quantum communication networks began broadcasting complex signal patterns that seemed random but contained deeply encoded messages. Each transmission was a puzzle, a psychological weapon designed to make the alien commanders question their own systems. Experimental satellite networks launched targeted electromagnetic pulses. These weren't traditional weapons, but sophisticated disruption tools that could temporarily disable alien ship systems. The Zorn found themselves suddenly blind, deaf, and vulnerable. Strategic ground units moved with unprecedented speed and adaptability. They would appear in one location, create maximum disruption, and then vanish before the aliens could mount a proper response. Each movement was carefully calculated to maximize psychological impact. The global scientific community had transformed into a unified combat research network. Universities, research facilities, and military think tanks worked together, sharing information at speeds the Zorn could never comprehend. Mina's team had discovered something crucial about the alien technological infrastructure. The Zorn relied on complex predictive algorithms that assumed logical progression. Humans would use complexity and unpredictability as their primary weapon. Advanced drone swarms began implementing what military strategists called chaos mathematics. Thousands of autonomous units moved in patterns that defied traditional understanding. They weren't trying to destroy, they were creating total systemic confusion. Intercepted alien communications revealed growing panic. The Zorn command structure, built on mathematical precision, was struggling to understand human combat strategies. Each human intervention seemed to break every known rule of technological warfare. Psychological warfare reached new levels of sophistication. Targeted communication broadcasts would contain fragments of information designed to create doubt and uncertainty within the alien command structures. "We're not fighting their technology," Mina explained to her team. "We're making them question the fundamental principles of their understanding." Experimental adaptive armor allowed human combat units to move through alien defensive systems like ghosts. They would appear, demonstrate impossible technological capabilities, and then vanish before a proper response could be mounted. The counteroffensive wasn't about destruction. It was about demonstration, showing the Zorn that technological superiority meant nothing without the ability to adapt, to think beyond predictable patterns. Global communication networks became a complex battlefield of quantum signals and adaptive algorithms. Each transmission was a weapon, each signal a potential psychological disruption. Mina watched as the Zorn invasion fleet began to fragment. Their once precise formations were now chaotic, their communication systems overwhelmed by human innovation. Special research teams had developed targeted frequency disruptors that could temporarily disable alien ship systems. These weren't traditional weapons, but sophisticated technological interventions that turned the Zorn's complexity against them. The battlefield had transformed. What started as an alien invasion was now a complex demonstration of human potential. Each intervention was carefully designed to show that humanity was far more than a primitive species. Alien ships began experiencing systematic failures. Navigation systems would suddenly malfunction. Communication networks would broadcast incomprehensible signal patterns. Defensive shields would collapse without explanation. "They thought we were weak," Mina said quietly. They were wrong. The counteroffensive revealed a fundamental truth about human capability. Technology wasn't about complexity. It was about adaptability, creativity, and the ability to transform limitations into strengths. As the conflict continued, the Zorn found themselves trapped in a warfare environment they could never have anticipated. Each human intervention was a psychological weapon, each strategy a demonstration of unexpected potential. The sky above Earth became a complex canvas of technological innovation, a battlefield where human creativity would prove more powerful than any advanced alien system. Mina Kang watched the unfolding conflict with a calm, calculated expression. This was more than a war. This was humanity's declaration to the universe about their true nature. The final battle erupted across Earth's orbital range, a symphony of technological chaos that would define humanity's place in the universe. Commander Seok Wan stood at the Global Command Center, watching the complex engagement unfold. Alien ships that once looked invincible now drifted like wounded creatures. The Zorn Collective's technological superiority had been completely dismantled by human innovation. "This isn't just a battle," Seok muttered. "This is a complete transformation of galactic understanding." Quantum communication networks launched their most sophisticated attack. Millions of adaptive algorithms targeted the alien fleet's fundamental communication infrastructure. Each signal was a weapon, each transmission a psychological assault, designed to break their technological confidence. The Zorn leadership watched in horror as their most advanced systems collapsed. Humanity had done something unprecedented. They had turned technological complexity into a weapon of total psychological destruction. Experimental satellite networks created complex interference patterns that made alien navigation impossible. Ships that once moved with precise mathematical calculations now drifted uncertainly, their systems confused and overwhelmed. Ground combat units moved with incredible speed and unpredictability. They weren't just fighting, they were demonstrating the fundamental human capacity for adaptive warfare. Each movement was a message. Technological superiority means nothing without creativity. Advanced drone swarms transformed the orbital battlefield into a complex dance of technological disruption. Thousands of autonomous units moved in patterns that defied traditional understanding, creating total systemic confusion. Seok's team had spent months studying every aspect of Zorn technology. They understood that the aliens' strength was also their greatest weakness, their reliance on predictable mathematical patterns. Psychological warfare reached its peak. Targeted communication broadcasts contained carefully designed signal patterns that created profound doubt within the alien command structures. The Zorn found themselves questioning everything they understood about warfare. "We're not just defending," Seok told his tactical team. "We're rewriting the rules of galactic conflict." Experimental adaptive armor allowed human combat units to move through alien defensive systems like invisible ghosts. They would appear, demonstrate impossible technological capabilities, and then vanish before a proper response could be mounted. The alien fleet began to fragment. Their once precise formations dissolved into chaos, communication networks collapsed, defensive systems failed, and their technological superiority became their ultimate weakness. Global scientific networks continued their relentless assault. Universities, research facilities, and military think tanks worked together, sharing information at speeds the Zorn could never comprehend. Targeted frequency disruptors created localized technological dead zones. Entire sections of the alien fleet would suddenly experience complete system failure, their most advanced technologies rendered useless in moments. Seok watched as the final stages of the conflict unfolded. This wasn't just a battle for Earth. This was a declaration of human potential to the entire universe. The Zorn leadership attempted final communication. Their message was a mixture of confusion, fear, and total defeat. Humanity had done something impossible. They had transformed technological warfare into a psychological art form. "Surrender is your only option," Seok's final transmission read. Simple, direct, devastating. Alien ships began to retreat, their once proud formations now broken and uncertain. Each movement was an admission of defeat, each retreat a testament to human innovation. The orbital battlefield became a complex canvas of human potential. Technological systems that seemed impossible just months ago were now standard combat protocols. Humanity had transformed itself in the face of an impossible threat. As the final alien ships disappeared, a profound silence settled over the global command center. They had done more than defend Earth. They had redefined the understanding of technological warfare. Seok's final message to the retreating Zorn was simple and clear. Never underestimate humanity again. The universe had learned an important lesson. Technological superiority means nothing without the capacity to adapt, to think beyond predictable patterns, to embrace the impossible. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had arrived with a message that would echo through the stars.